Hi and welcome back to a new episode of Bob Builds. So it's been quite a while since the last episode, and I've been doing stuff which I'll pretend has been more important. But we're going to jump straight back in to this is the PvP island I built for a player versus player, Minecraft Battle Royale style tournament we had, which the video will be going up soon of that. But this is kind of the dock area, and this part of the island didn't really have anything on it. And we got to about 2 weeks before our tournament, and I realised that I kind of wanted to give players, more places to hide and run around, and just make it a little bit more interesting. So I built this small village, and this is the first, this is the first stage of that. This is a dock area, as you can see. So I've built raised little platforms here. I really like that colour of wood. And if you offset it slightly with these little, with the stone bricks, I think it looks really nice. What you saw there is something interesting I've done, where I went back and forward. You might see it again later on in the video. I go back and forward, placing blocks ridiculously quickly. Now I know this is a time lapse. It's really, really quick. But what I've done, in a way, it's kind of cheating, but I think it's quite ingenious. Is if you have a mouse that can do macros, which is where you press a key and the computer knows that pressing that key it will perform certain commands. And I've got to set on my mouse that if I click once on a certain button, it'll keep right clicking, i.e. in Minecraft keep placing blocks until I press it again. So here what happens is we skipped quite a bit, because this boat and that warehouse, that's from a second map. That's actually from the very first player versus player map we did. And I used a world editor here to just copy and paste these in. It's kind of cheating. I don't normally like to use world editors, but I didn't have much time to finish this before the tournament, and I liked these buildings. They fit in well. They were the same style. So I just copy pasted them in, fixed a few blocks, just to make them fit seamlessly, and I'm quite happy with it. I don't really mind too much. So here what I'm doing is just deciding on where to put the torches, because I need to make it light enough the players can see where they're going, but at the same time, you don't want it a bit gloomy. You need atmosphere, and just fences around the side, because I'm trying not to let players go in the water. I don't think anyone did actually in the end when we played it, but there was nothing to actually stop players just swimming off into the distance, which is something which will have to be fixed in further updates of the map. So here I'm just laying out the foundations for, this is going to be a big hotel or pub that just will sit out and look out at the docks. I wanted like a big kind of house hotel type thing, just to be the main centerpiece of the village. It didn't quite work out like that, as you'll see as we go on, but I was really happy with what I came up with. So I did on the first floor, I started off with stone bricks as supports, and I started there with logs on the bottom, something I've never tried before. Not wooden planks, but logs. Eventually I changed that, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to see in the video, but I do like the contrast between the stone bricks and then using sandstone. I think that was really nice. Unfortunately as well, with the time frame that I had, all these buildings, most of them are just empty shells, which is a bit of a shame. I would have liked the time to go back in and make them a bit more interesting inside, but as with a lot of stuff in Bob Builds, it's just empty shells. So here we're moving on to the top level, adding a little kind of balcony, people can look out from, maybe add chairs and things, and then getting started on the supports for the roof. So I always like stuff like this, making a plausible roof. Like for instance in real life you would need those wooden beams across the way to hold it up, and I like little details like that. It just makes it seem a bit more, I don't know, as I've said before, Minecraft, it's obviously not realistic. You can do anything you want in it, but I think if you do, make little nods to the real world, you make stuff plausible, then, people find it easier to believe and kind of immerse themselves in it. So just adding a little crane just has a little bit of detail. I think a few people tried to get up into it when we actually played the tournament, but no, it's just empty. Just a little crane just for detail. So here I'm now starting to branch out a bit, and this is me trying different types of road. I wanted something kind of old-fashioned, not maybe medieval style. I didn't want, like a tarmac road or anything. So this is cobbled streets. Now I've actually used cobblestone, which I normally don't like using, unless there's a purpose for it. But well, here it makes perfect sense. Cobbled roads, so cobblestone. What I really liked doing was having the elevated, like pavements, I guess you could call them, in the road itself. Like a half slab lower. It really makes it, I don't know, just a little bit more interesting than just having, a block difference. If you have a half slab difference, it just adds that little bit of, I don't know, makes it a little bit more interesting, I guess, a little bit more unusual. And then I added this trough of water all the way through. I'm not really sure what for. I'm not sure what that would be used for in real life, but it looked nice, and I don't know. So here we go. You can see now I've extended the roadway all the way out. I'm adding a little junction, um, and this is me moving onto a bridge. And as you can see on the left of the screen there's a small island, and I'm going to end up building a lighthouse on there eventually. But of course, players need to be able to get across there. So I had a lot of fun building this using the half slabs, stairs, and just making it kind of, I don't know, having interesting supports and interesting kind of, like a wall, a fence, I guess you'd call it, on the side. The problem is as well is that the dip there you can see, where the water, where the water suddenly gets really really deep. It was way too deep for me to actually put the supports, right down to bedrock. Um, so I've had to make the bridge arch across there. I'm loving using the new stone and mossy cobblestone fences, walls. I'm not sure what you'd call them. I'm not sure what they're called in game even. But I really like how, see how they join together like fences. You can do so much with them. It's just another tool just to add detail, make things a little bit more interesting. So now the bridge is finished. I'm now adding a little garden, I don't know, a little park. I liked making this kind of square, just putting a few benches in it, hedges, things like that. Just to kind of, because you don't want a village that's all buildings. I mean, that's not realistic. And also, this is kind of an easy way just to use up a lot of space in your village. But I think weirdly, I have more fun making little gardens and stuff like this than I do actually making big buildings, which is really weird. And it's always fun trying to make a water feature, and it doesn't really work. Okay, so that's looking okay, and it's just kind of filled up a little bit of area, added a little bit of detail as always, made things a little bit more interesting, something the players can run through. And next week we'll move on to filling in the rest of the village with just houses, forest, whatever else we can think of. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. This has been Bob Builds.